Is planning for retirement causing you stress? How can you really be sure that your money will last in retirement? You can run calculations. You can plan based on averages or other models and hope that you're guessing right. But hope and guesswork are not a strategy. In this video, I'll share my step-by-step budget design process so you can stop stressing and start living. I'll also show you how to test your plan before you ever leave your paycheck behind. So stick with me to the end, because I'll share a powerful example of how a typical retirement budget breaks out and how you can use it to create a plan that works for you. Hi, I'm John. I'm 61 years old and I've been retired for about a year now. I'm still figuring things out just like you. But one thing I've learned is that budgeting is about peace of mind. When you have a plan, you don't second guess every dollar. How do I know? Because this is not theory for me. I'm sharing ideas and things that have worked for me based on my own experiences. Everyone's situation is unique, and I encourage you to do your own research, make informed decisions, and talk to professionals if needed. Step 1 is knowing your true monthly needs. Not a ballpark guess, your actual number. Surveys show that the average retiree household spends about $52,000 a year, or around $4,300 per month. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But here's the thing. Your number could be higher or lower, depending on lifestyle, debt, and location. What I did was simple but eye-opening. I created a simple spreadsheet and logged every single expense for 3 months. And I mean every single expense. Groceries, utilities, insurance, and even that impulse stop at a coffee shop. Then I averaged it out. The process was worth it because I saw exactly where my money was going and where I was wasting money or spending on things that were holding me back from retiring. That gave me the confidence to simplify where I could and know that I wouldn't be living beyond my means. So here's an action step for you. Commit to tracking at least 3 months of expenses. Don't round off, don't skip, don't guess. Your clarity in budgeting depends on your accuracy. Step 2 is separating what you need from what you want. This sounds simple, but it's often harder than we think. In retirement, studies show that healthcare, housing, and transportation consistently rank as the top 3 non-negotiable expenses. I've mentioned this in other videos. Fidelity estimates that the average couple retiring at 65 could well spend over $315,000 on healthcare alone. That's not optional. That's a need. Wants, on the other hand, are those extras. Vacations, dining out, upgrading your phone every year. Important, sure. Essential? Not always. When I analyzed my own spending, I asked myself, could I live without this if I had to? That was the dividing line. Now, let's face it. Hobbies, vacation, these are important for our well-being. In my case, gardening was a hobby that I really enjoyed, but there was some costs. But on the other hand, it feeds me, it keeps me active, and it boosts my mental health. So while it looked like a want, I actually put it closer to the needs, and I just manage it because it supports my well-being. That's the power of knowing your values along with what you're actually spending. Step 3 is cutting costs smartly. Here's the reality. Most of us can trim about 10 to 20% of our spending without feeling deprived. A 2023 AARP survey found that retirees who felt the most secure weren't necessarily the wealthiest. They were the ones who managed their spending wisely. So here's a few easy tips. Audit your subscriptions. Do you really need 4 streaming services? Buy store brands or shop at local farmers markets. Travel in the off-season. It's less crowded, and the difference can be thousands of dollars a year. Consider some creative housing options like renting or downsizing. When I looked at my own spreadsheet, I realized I was paying for services that I hadn't used in months. Cutting them freed up hundreds of dollars. That's money that I can now redirect to experiences that matter. Let's face it, the unexpected sometimes happens. So step 4 is building an emergency cushion. Life has a way of throwing curveballs, especially in retirement. The rule of thumb is that you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a liquid asset account. For some, that might be $15,000. For others, it could be $30,000 or more. Think about it. One car repair, one medical bill, or even helping out a family member can set you back if you're not prepared. According to Bankrate, nearly 60% of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency with savings if they needed to. That's why this step is so crucial. Your emergency fund isn't money you touch for fun. It's about having peace of mind in a savings account when you need it. Step 5 is about finding other sources of income, maybe part-time or flexible income. This is largely what my channel is about. I'm semi-retired and I enjoy working, and that part-time income is making a huge difference in my life. This is the heart of semi-retirement. You're not done earning. A 2022 survey by Transamerica found that nearly half of retirees work in some capacity, often part-time, not just for money, but also for the purpose and connection. It doesn't take much. Even $500 a month can reduce the draw on your retirement savings by thousands each year. For me, becoming a personal trainer and a wellness coach became that stream of income. It pays me, but it also gives me meaning, and I enjoy it. Think about your own skills. Could you consult? Could you do freelance work? Can you turn a hobby into a side income? It's not just about the dollars, it's about staying active and engaged and doing things you love. Step 6 is test driving your budget. This is where the magic happens. Instead of guessing it, you live it. Try this. For 3 to 6 months, live as if you're in a semi-retired mode. Spend only the amount you budgeted for, even if you're still working. At the end, ask yourself, did you feel deprived? Were you able to cover everything? What was I not expecting? I did this, and when I did my trial run, I found that I could actually live comfortably and I had room to breathe. That gave me the confidence that my budget wasn't just a theory, it was practical. And remember, flexibility is your friend. Semi-retirement isn't about locking into one rigid number. It's about knowing your boundaries and adjusting as needed. So let's put this all together. Here's a sample semi-retirement budget based on average numbers. Remember, this is an example, and these are averages. It's not exacting for everybody, so you'll have to do some of your own work, as I described earlier. So let's take a look at this budget. These are based on averages that I was able to find doing a little research. So average housing costs, and that might be rental, it might be something left on a mortgage, or it might be other. For retirees, that's averaging about $1,200 a month. Now granted, in some locations, like where I live, those housing expenses can be substantially more than that. Food, well, about $600 a month. Healthcare, this is a hot number, so the average right now is about $500 a month. But honestly, we are seeing more and more information about these costs rising, and it's something we all need to be mindful of. Transportation, well, it's about $400 a month. Utilities, about $300. Discretionary, like travel, hobbies, or other entertainment, that's about $800 a month. Putting savings aside for emergencies, well, ideally that's about $500 a month. That number might look familiar. It's pretty much the national average for retiree spending that I mentioned earlier. But the key here is flexibility. If you bring in $1,000 in part-time income, you only need to cover $3,300 of that from your savings. If you bring in more, well, that's even better. That's the difference between stress and peace of mind. And check out this other video where I talk about retirement and what you can earn even if you're on Social Security, because the earning side of this, part-time work, Social Security income, your savings, if that all adds up and stays within this budget that you practiced, you could be in better shape than you realize. So here's the key takeaway. Designing your semi-retirement budget isn't about restrictions. It's about clarity, flexibility, and confidence. When you track your spending, separate needs from wants, cut your costs smartly, build an emergency cushion, add income streams, and test drive your plan, you'll be in control of your future instead of guessing your way through it. Well, thanks for being a part of this growing community. If you found this video helpful, check out my other 2 videos from this series on semi-retirement. You'll see the playlist linked at the end of this video. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the videos that are coming next. Because retirement isn't just about money, it's about living strong, healthy, and happy. I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching Retired for Life.